So, two things, hopefully real quick, but I'm usually never quick. One thing I'm really excited about. Um, so this day marks the day that my son came in, and he was just excited that God had spoke to him, and that's how he brought it to me. He's like, "Mom, God spoke to me. God just spoke to me," and it was like a nice little smile on his face, and I loved it, because I want him to grow in his spirituality, spirituality, and definitely his relationship with God. And I said spirituality first because, and not trying to reduce it or make it separate from God, because that's what we need, rooted and grounded in God. But I said that first because that's just what's been going on. It's been disorderly, and yeah, we need to be aligned and and rooted in God. I've been dealing with him regarding alignment for a while and some other things, but I told him he's about to turn 10. He's a young man. I want him to, I want him, I have desires and things regarding my sons and stuff like that, but I know that, of course, now looking at my daughter, things don't always go according to what we plan or what we want, but that ain't gonna stop me from submitting my kids to God, period. Like, that's it. He's the beginning and the end, Alpha and Omega, the end all be all that, I'm hoping for regarding all of my kids. Any kids that come out this womb. And even any more if I have them in the future. And so yeah, just that marks that for today for me. I'm excited about that. I encouraged him once he told me, and just kind of gave him some insight, but I tried to I don't want to take the glory. I'm not going to be able to, but I don't want to try to take no glory away from God, and just let God move on him and reveal it to him how he will, instead of my interpretation, my understanding, because he gave me the occurrence or the instance that it happened. That's my other tablet in the background. Oh gosh, I just turned it on. Okay, so yeah, he gave me the instance or whatever, the thing that happened for showing his belief and stuff like that, and that's one key thing. He mentioned God, period. So that means he believes. So which that's amazing in itself. But to the extent of how he believes and what he believes and stuff, I don't try to force myself. I always encourage my kids, but I don't try to force what I believe and how I believe on them. And I did have to learn that, and I honestly learned some of that from their dad or whatever, because he's not, as far as I'm concerned, he definitely didn't want me forcing anything on him or whatever the case may be. Now he would be influenced by other people and just not even question, not even question certain stuff. Um, but yeah, so excited about that. Just praying that God send him people that can encourage him in his walk with God, and definitely, I definitely want a young man of God. Of course, it can be an older man of God too, but somebody that is good with working with youth or whatever the case may be. Um, to just to continue to encourage my son. But I know right now one of the main things I'm doing is just praying that God, allow him to be encouraged. Don't be discouraged. Don't let the enemy come through and try to mess up some stuff. So yeah, very excited about that. And he just went over exactly how something was happening outside with a certain truck and stuff like that. And he recognized things as the voice of God, and God speaking to him about some stuff. And it was different. It was somewhat different in the way that I hear from God. Um, it had to do with numbers too, but it was somewhat different in the way that I hear from God. But like I said, I encouraged him because that's what I want. That's what I want going on in this household, in this world, period. But I can only start in my household mainly. I can't. I mean, and I'm not saying I can't influence anybody else's, but I necessarily don't even like to. Like, I, I don't want to go and say I don't care to, But that's honestly how I'm feeling because of I feel like I've just been abused regarding my spiritual gifts and things. But but yeah. So as long as he encouraged, and then he can encourage his brother and stuff like that, and yeah, we just live this thing out and walk righteously. Especially with what's all going on in the world. Every time I turn on, I'm seeing somebody dying. I did see a story earlier today that, like, definitely touched my heartstrings because a lady lost her child to a car accident, which, she's an adult pretty much by age, but she lost her to a bad car accident, and she put it on live and stuff like that. And the way she just explained it and described it, she said she usually watches her child come home on a certain app and stuff like that. But that night she fell asleep. And one thing about that, I've talked about it on some of my other videos. God have put me in a deep sleep before, and it's just once you in that sleep, you ain't no waking up out of that until He wants you to get up. And like there was times when I'm like, why am I so drowsy? And I just went to sleep. He wanted me, and He was letting me know you're not in control. He was reminding me you're not in control. I'm in control. And I'm glad for the reminder because maybe I do it without realizing and be thinking that I'm running stuff or feeling like it or whatever. But reminder, you're not in control. So, I mean, it didn't matter what I did, I couldn't be shaken and woken up out of that sleep or whatever. Didn't hear the kids, didn't nothing. It was just. But then there was another time when he put me and both my sons in a deep sleep, and we was just knocked out. I think we came from an outing or whatever or something like that, and we was just knocked out. So for her saying that, but then she showed that she was calling on God and calling on Jesus, and I'd be skeptical, and that's just what it is, and not even that it's even my business or whatever, but she put it out there, and I was like, oh Lord, let me go do my little rundown, look at her page, this and the third, but she did put up where her daughter had got baptized in 2015. So I thought that was awesome. And of course, that just made my soul. I rejoiced, but it also made me cry out like, I'm glad that she got saved. But it's like that definitely got to be tough for a mother who is a believer. Because a lot of times when I see kids die or something like that, I go to their page and I see a whole bunch of demonic, diabolical stuff on the mom's page and on the kids page and stuff like that. And I just be like, that's just what I'm saying. That's me and my feelings or whatever, or my opinions about certain stuff. But I just be looking sideways. I ain't gonna front. But to see that she had posted, regarding her daughter being baptized and stuff like that, I was just like, okay, that bothered me. It bothered me, but it also made me feel good at the same time. And then of course, it reminds me, I got where my daughter was baptized, and of course, if you don't listen to other videos, my daughter is not in my household, and I don't know what's going on with her. I don't have no app to be able to follow her. I don't turn on, what I'm saying, I can't turn on a location type thing to be able to follow and know what's going on with her. So, that's what I got going on. Um, so of course I felt some compassion, and I felt a type of way that I can't necessarily even explain. Like, and then she went to the site where her child was lost, and she was the first one on the scene. Then they tell her to back up from her own child. You know what I'm saying? It's a child that came out of your womb, and you can't spend those moments and stuff with the child. I understand they want to get their job done, but I don't know. To me, it's still something wrong with the way the system operates, where a child that you carried in your womb you got to go deliver them in the hospital that they choose for you to send there, and just so much other uncomfortable stuff I can name. Um, so that's that. So then I was thinking, this is on a not so good note, aside from my son and stuff letting me know what's going on with him. I was just, for whatever reason, reminded and thinking about how when their dad walked into the courtroom with another female, and of course after he just can do that with being involved with you, not letting you know anything that's going on, and just can pop up with a whole nother life. And And of course, like I said, I knew it had something to do with her paying his child support so he wouldn't go to jail and all that. He ended up going to jail, but he got released because she paid his stuff. And that's where he brings, uh, other people in it. Because, of course, you're going to feel like I'm paying for this, then, basically I'm running the show. And it's like he submitted to that or whatever. And that's, what I'm saying, he submitted. I'm gonna let a female pay my stuff so I don't go to jail. And it's just, again, I guess it goes back to the dream or whatever, where I feel like just just such a coward, like disgusting. And not to say that the ones that are taking care of their kids and not letting a female pay their child support, but yet they are absent or something like that, that you're not to say that that's not right, but it's just like it's something different when you just letting a whole female just take care of your responsibility. And to me, as a man, I don't know whether to call that wise, smart, or whatever. I don't know. I guess it's definitely unwise and it's not smart when you're using that female for specific stuff like that. If you really care, then I guess there's nothing wrong with you helping your man and this and the third. But like I said, he will leave out of something before he's even done with what he had already started. And I just be like, it's just disgusting. And so he came into the courtroom and stuff, and of course I'm there. This is my first time. I mean, of course I knew because she done reached out to me before, but she just still walking in the courtroom. This is 2 years after she had reached out to me, almost 2 years after she had reached out to me and stuff like that. So basically, he letting it be known she's still around, but without saying it to me, and then her, showing forth, and that was the thing. And on that day, she wasn't saying nothing then. They don't say nothing then, but you felt like you had the balls or whatever to reach out to me. And I'm not going deep on this because I don't want to invest my energy in talking about, especially her. She's you already know, pretty much a non-factor to me. But just even reliving and rehashing all that stuff. But yeah, she had a lot to say on the phone and all that during that time. It was like it was a different type of attitude. It was like it was a you somebody that can easily change up, or you just did something and then either you literally really truly forget that you did that, or you just that good of a damn actor that what I'm saying, I could be this one way, or this chameleon type. I can be this one way and then I'm gonna switch it up on you. And not that I wanted her to say anything to me on that day, but and one thing, I'm thankful that I wasn't really surprised or whatever. I was guess preparing myself for something like that to happen, for her to come in with him, because I already knew how he rolled or whatever. His daughter's mom had told me one time that he came in. This is why he was involved with me, but they was going to court. He came into court with the girl and all that, with the other girl he had the baby with, and that's the thing. She wasn't paying his child support. So it's like it's something that he tries to make himself look good and noticeable. Of course, he was using that for her to come back and tell me that he was dealing with somebody else and just all type of stuff. So it was just hit this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know how crazy and toxic his ways was at all. I mean, you never know when you're just dealing with a toxic person in general. You don't never know how toxic, how deeply toxic they can get, how bad it can get, or whatever. But yeah, I didn't care for that. I didn't like it. I don't know why it's coming up. I know this basically was it a year ago, 2020. Well, no, it wasn't last year. It was the year before that it all happened. So it's basically 2 years now. All this stuff seems like it just happened yesterday, seriously, to me in my mind. But but yeah, things have been pretty much quiet. I ain't had that many dreams about these people, him nor her, as I was before, and even some last year, or whatever. But I ain't had that many dreams. I did see that number, the infamous number, or whatever today, and all that. I'm just, I don't know. I don't know. One thing about it, I don't, I didn't really care to pray for the other girl he had a baby with when he was involved with me, but I felt led to, and I felt like I needed to, even though, I almost, like, naturally, I almost hated her or whatever, and I definitely just, I just despised her because, for one, to me, it made me seem like, or make me feel like she looked better, he was giving her these compliments and this, that, and the third. He even spoke about, well, black men, that's why black men go to white women and this, that, and she not white, but she was mixed, whatever. But with this other one, I was just like, and so crazy to even say other one and all that. But yeah, with that most recent one that I know of anyway, I definitely don't want to pray for her or nothing like that. I don't want her in my personal space. I don't want to know her like how she claimed that she wanted to know me, only because she wanted to do something regarding him, which, honey, I understand. You want to have the upper hand over him. But I'm not here for that. I'm not here to tag team up with you to come against him. Even though I don't like him, don't like what he do, that's still, a man that I chose to have children with. So I've had that love for him, felt in love with him so many, before and so many times. And, I just don't see myself trying to set him up or anything like that. Now, granted, he did that to me. He did certain stuff that strongly appear to be set up, or if not, I mean, you have to call it that. But that's just not me. I'm not spiteful like that. I don't try to live my life spitefully. Now, in the moment, if you did it and you still right there in my face, again, who knows what would have happened. But I get time to think about it, pray about it, and move on and all of that. And see, even her, she thought that I ain't forgot stuff that happened in 2018 and 19 and whenever, but she thought I was holding on to stuff, and because I still remembered it, and I did. I think I spoke it or brought it up, and she was like, that was in such and such, and I'm like, it don't matter when it was, like, I ain't forgot it, and the fact that God, what I'm saying, it's just, God is in the midst, so, um, touch not my anointing and do my prophet no harm. So that's the thing with always saying you're not untouchable and this, that, and the third, and you thinking you touching me or doing this, but he said touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. And you didn't listen, you wasn't obedient to that. But again, not making this about her or anything like that, just moving on. And yep, we in this last day of January. Let's close out with a wonderful bang. He hasn't sent any money regarding his kids. Did he send some earlier this month? I don't know. I think it was earlier this month, but since then he hasn't. And so low on funds or whatever. But I'm so glad I'm at a place where um like I used to be asking, dang near begging him, I need some money. Can you send some money? But again, this is when I was involved with him, or I believed I was involved with him. And I was expecting, you gonna send the money. He's basically the man of the house, but he was out still in the streets or whatever, and he was supposed to run me that, send me that. I don't want to say run me that, but yeah. Um, and so that was that. But so at this point in time, yeah, I'm low on funds and stuff like that, but I'm just feeling like I'm glad that I don't feel the need and the drive and the desire to reach out to him and ask him and I need this and that and the third. I mean, I feel like he's not stupid. He know he got children here, so it's a need. But and I just can't stand when he does that or whatever, but or when I don't know when something coming in or something like that. And just, of course, it's been the lack of communication between me and him for years now, since I haven't been emailing him and stuff like that. And gosh, I'm trying to remember. The last time I emailed him, I know was definitely last year when I had some choice words to say to him. But other than that, it was the year previous when he claimed he was engaged to the girl or whatever. And so that was 2020. It's 2022. Like I said, going on 2 years, and it literally, I heard a beeping noise, takes to get somebody out of your system. Like, you really gotta take some time. That's why it's better to not even get connected in certain ways in the first place. And it's just certain stuff, man, that I'm glad now I know better, but I definitely wish I knew better then. You know, how to not get myself in stuff like that. Like, I literally did not think he was gonna pretty much like drag me to hell, through hell. He don't bring you back. God brings you back, and then he'll do it again and again if he had the chance. So I'm just like, oh God, I'm thankful for the relief. And then, of course, to top it all off, my daughter been out my household and stuff like that. And again, it's because of a phone call that I don't even like to acknowledge it. I'm like, it's because of a phone call that he placed. And I'm just like, man, but to God be all the glory. Definitely felt sad for that lady, but I feel good because she seems confident that she know her baby is with the Lord, and her daughter is with the Lord. And that thing was tragic though. These accidents, these vehicles and stuff. These vehicles are like a setup and a trap to basically get you up out of here. But it looked like she hit a telephone pole. Well, I mean, not telephone pole, because we don't really use landlines anymore. But a power line pole. And it was just, I mean, the way the car looked, it was just horrible. But anywho, I'm getting ready to, even with little funds I got, try to find him something to eat. Cause my son was in there eating chips. Like my youngest son, he's picky. My older son, he can find something in the house. But um, I'm just about to see if we got something to be able to get something with, I don't know. These numbers keep on calling me. Probably trying to collect some money. But yeah, so I'm off it. I just picked my little piece.